another exciting episode of the Ronnie and Bo podcast show. And we're really getting into this thing.
We are.
We've got logos.
Yes.
Thanks to Christy Crosswhite.
Yeah, right.
We've got pictures.
Thanks to David Bleckley.
And we've got chips in the studio.
We have chips. Can you eat? That is my favorite noise.
I mean, this is the greatest gig in the world, right?
That is. And I'm sure we're gaining more followers now as you crunch into the microphone.
And we're gaining more weight every podcast we do. But look at this. We got Tostitos salsa.
Yeah.
Man, this is the greatest gig. You can't do this at a job.
No, you
can't do this when you're working.
You cannot.
Now, you could if you were preaching on Sunday at Heights. You have that little podium. You could probably do this.
I could get away with that. You think so?
I think you should try it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And then I think what you should do. This is serious. So you do these sermons and you use examples.
Yes.
Briefly, the hot tea.
Yes.
You use that. Explain that. What you did.
Yeah. So
what's that called? A tea kettle.
Oh yeah, the tea kettle. So
yeah.
You know those electric tea kettles that you plug in, and then it brings the water to a boil.
Yeah.
And so we were just talking about being connected to God is one thing, but then engaging deeper in your relationship with God is a whole different thing. And so my wife had this electric kettle, and when we first got it, I'd never used one, and I thought, oh, this will be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And I plugged it in, and then nothing happened. I'm going, Anna, what's going on? I can't even figure out how to make this thing work.
Really?
And she said, no, you idiot. You need to push the button. There's a button.
So not only do you plug it in, but then you have to switch.
You have to flip the switch. And once that happens, then it lights the little burner at the bottom, and that gets the water going. And then once the water is brought to a boil, now it can be poured out. Now it can be of use to someone else as they make tea or hot chocolate or whatever.
And you used it to make an analogy.
Yeah, just saying, basically we need to be plugged in a relationship with God. But if we don't flip the switch, if we don't engage, if we don't dive into God's word, if we don't pray more and more, well, then, we can miss out on a tremendous amount of what God kind of wants to bring to a boil. In our own hearts, and because ultimately the point, just like that tea kettle, is to pour ourselves out to serve other people.
So I saw that sermon, and that was a prop you were using,
right?
You've also done ping pong balls. You've also done
that was Pastor John's idea, the ping pong ball thing. Yeah,
that was great. And then you've also done like a water vase.
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know, but explain. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Quickly mention.
Yeah. If you kind of picture your life as an empty cup,
okay.
None of us likes to feel empty.
Okay.
And so it's natural for us to fill our lives up with something. But what we fill it up with, that's what's up for grabs. Sometimes we fill our lives with a whole bunch of junk.
So those two examples that I got you to sort of explain to me,
yes.
I saw the props that you used, and those are good things. So that's my point. So you should take a bowl of chips and salsa, and you should get up on the podium, and everyone's going to sit down on Sunday and go, oh, this is going to be one of those sermons like the ping pong balls, like the tea kettle, where I want to watch this one. This is going to be another analogy. And then you need to do a sermon. Please do this.
Okay.
You need to do a sermon, and you need to reach into the chip and hold it up and look at both sides, stick it into the salsa and eat it, and then continue. And then never make reference at all. And they go, well, where was the analogy, Ron?
You heard it first here.
See?
Oh, faithful listeners. This is why
you need me as your manager. I'll
do.
Be your PR guy.
This explains why this is the best, worst podcast you've ever listened to. That would actually be a riot.
That would be great. And everyone would go, when does the analogy come?
Yeah.
And then you would just finish the chips and salsa and walk off.
That would drive me nuts because I cannot stand one of my pet peeves. Which what?
I'm listening.
What is a peeve anyway? And do you really want one for a pet?
I don't know.
I don't. I hate the sound of what you're doing right now in my ear. That is the worst noise ever. One time I went to go see a movie, And I walk into the theater, and nobody else was in there. And I'm thinking, this is great.
Wow.
This is going to be a great time. Just kind of enjoy myself. Sit down, pick out the perfect seat, sit down, and I'm sitting there waiting for the movie to start. And just before the movie begins, this woman walks in, and she scans the whole room, sees that it's empty except for me, and comes over and sits down right next to me. Out of all of the places, she sits right next to me. And she has this giant Coca-Cola that is 2 quarts larger than her bladder. She has this huge tub of corn. She just get on all fours and put her face in the bucket. This is like a horse trough big. She's chomping on the corn.
Slurping on
she
the
is
Coke.
Slurping the Coke.
The ice is swishing around.
And then she begins to chew the ice. Now the movie begins, and it was almost like she would wait for the quietest parts of the movie, and then she'd chomp down. It's just chewing these molars. She gets out a crunchy wrapper of some sort of candy. It was a horrible, horrible experience, and then she starts rifling through her purse.
Oh, man.
She had this Mary Poppins size carpet bag that she's opening up and pulling out children and lamps and you name it. And I couldn't take it anymore. So finally I turned to my wife and I said, go sit somewhere else. I can't stand this. I just want to be left alone, and that woman will not leave me alone.
But you didn't turn off your cell phone, did you?
No, no, yeah, goodness. That's when I'll get you shot in the movie theater now. Man, they give you all sorts of warnings, and then the guys come in with the little lightsabers.
The manager comes in?
Yeah, he's checking on everybody now, so.
That's funny.
It's a frightening case of.
Anna doesn't have that big of a purse.
No.
I don't believe that story for a minute.
She doesn't. Yeah, I totally made that up. I would never treat my wife that way. So I'm wondering if you prefer in Prescott the Harkins Theater, stadium seating, and tons of seats, giant screen, great sound system. You get all the electricity of hundreds of people in a theater,
right.
Or the picture show in Prescott, where you've got full-size recliners, and there's only about 50 or 60 people that can fit in the room, but it's like a big living room, and you can just pass out.
Those recliners are fantastic. The problem is, and it's a hard decision. You're asking, which do I prefer? It's hard to answer, but I will tell you, at the picture show, in Prescott, it's hard to watch a movie because you fall asleep.
I know.
It's a full recliner, a leather lazy boy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It sure is a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that because honestly, have you seen more animated movies than you can handle now with kids your kids' age? Isn't there a stage where you just, if you see another cartoon of any sort, you're going to shoot someone in the face?
Horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. But I would pay $5 actually just to take a nap in one of those recliners.
And then your kids don't know
while they watch their movie.
Unless you snore.
Yeah, some horrible kids movie, and I can just take a nap.
And then they're so excited seeing some animated thing.
Yep, I like that.
Pets or...
I like that.
What was that one, Sergeant Stubby? Or did you see that one?
Sergeant Stubby?
No, it's true. Or something like that. It was a real life story about bringing dogs into the service as companions and
I missed that.
Bomb-sniffing
dogs.
That's
not a real movie. There is no way.
It is.
Sergeant Stubby.
Oh, by the way, I'm not I probably won't get the Father of the Year award, but I have a 9-year-old son. I shouldn't say this, but I have a 7-year-old son, and we start the saying, and I've introduced him to a little blue humor.
Yes.
And the saying is on almost anything.
Yeah.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days? That's just what we say to each other.
Yep. Double entendre.
Yes, exactly. So he said, Dad, Mom's taking me to the movie Sergeant Stubby. And I said, is that what the kids are? Dad, knock it off. So that was we used that line once.
Oh gosh. Well, it's enjoyable to be here with you, Sergeant Stubby, and
Wait a minute. Huh?
enjoy a handful of minutes together.
Stubby, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
so
pretty sure
you're
making this. Between the theaters, honestly, I do. I like the picture show. They're both pretty cool, but I like the picture show because the recliners. That's the best. I used to have a little panic attack though because there are so few seats that I'd get my family there 2 hours too early, and they'd be saying, "Dad, why are we here forever?" And we'd spend $80 on food because we'd have to eat breakfast and lunch before the movie started.
But that is the beauty of going to a movie in our small little towns, as opposed to Los Angeles or San Diego.
That's true. And now,
big cities.
Now you can. They do reserve seating there.
Wow.
And so
the
night before you can just get it and not have to worry. So.
I remember when we first moved here. We weren't here for a week, and we moved over from Los Angeles, my wife and I, before we had kids, and we went to the movie theater. And in Los Angeles, as you know, the movie tickets are $14, maybe even more.
Yeah, maybe more.
And so we aren't here for a week, new in town. We go down to Harkins in Prescott Valley, and we said, well, we better get there, because it's a Friday night.
Right.
We park the car, we run around the corner, and Friday night at the movies, we're the third couples in line.
It's fantastic.
I mean, there's not a line of 10 people.
Right. If you're listening to this in California right now, then be jealous.
Yes.
Because it is amazing. I took my boys, just me and my boys, so just 3 of us in L.A., went to go see a movie a few years back, and I wasn't thinking. I just, let's get the tickets, and then, whatever you want to eat, go for it. And we stocked up, and just tickets and the food, and the 3 of us had spent over $100 for a movie.
Wow,
that was
it's
not
tough.
happening. And to see Sergeant Stubby, that is not worth it.
Well, and the cool thing about seeing movies here is, Star Wars. The biggest movies that come out in the summertime, the biggest movies.
You're still fine. You're still fine.
It's not a packed
you're not
theater.
lining up and sleeping out front or whatever.
So we show up in line, and the tickets are $14 in L.A., and I turned to my wife and I said, look at this. Tickets are $7 each. This is amazing. In California, they'd be $14. A guy turned around in front of me.
Yeah.
He said, are you guys from California? And I said, yeah. He said, well, welcome to Arizona, but don't bring your regulations. I didn't know what he meant by that. I said, oh, yeah, you bet.
Yeah, gosh.
And it took me about a year, and then I realized what he meant. It is so easy and so fun living in northern Arizona, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic. What is not easy is doing a podcast with you.
What? Do you want me in California?
No, Bo. This is amazing. But the whole thing is we began this particular episode just before we started recording. I said, hey, I have an idea, and I'm not going to tell you what it is.
But we didn't get to it?
And then you just went for it. And so here we go. This was another amazing episode that was completely unplanned of the Ronnie and Bo show. Unscripted, off the cuff, and it's why I love you, Bo.
You make it easy, Ron.
So you're going to have to tune in next time for the idea that I had.